the setting of the sun. Your name is worthy. Yes, it is. We praise you, Lord. Now somebody do what you were created to do and praise the name of Jesus. He's worthy of the praise. So for that we lift you up. Lift your hands, all ye people. From the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun. We praise you,
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.
Perry.
Macon. Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM.
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine. Boy, that scare me. Scare me like that, Mr. Engineer. Good afternoon, and welcome to Ask Elaine. You know that it's Wednesday, it's 3 p.m., and you knew that there was somewhere you needed to be, and it's right here with Ask Elaine. If you've tuned in on AM, FM, or if you're here with us live on Facebook Live, WDDO Historic WDDO, you are welcome, and thank you so much for tuning in. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to Ask Elaine in what, 10 years?
Wow.
That's a long, long time. Good.
Decade.
No wonder folks getting older. Stuff. Oh, we have a show for you today. We have lots of information. We're going to tell you what some folks did at the Transit Authority meeting last night. We're going to give you a recap on that, and we just wonder why some people. It's a mess out here.
Yes.
That's why you've got to always vote. You got to get registered first, because those elections are coming up so fast next year. Next year. It's going to be the presidential preference election will be
November.
No, it's going to be before then. It'll be February, I believe. So we look, that's a preferential primary where all of the Democratic candidates are on the ballot,
Right.
and you go and you state your preference, and then whoever gets the most votes of the Democrats, only Democrats will be voting in that, then that is the candidate who gets the state of Georgia moving forward. That's an indication as to who's most popular.
Wow.
And so you remember South Carolina, the Democratic Party
right.
has placed South Carolina as first because they represent better the Democratic makeup. So the preferential primaries are those elections where you vote just among us home folks, us family folks, us Democrats.
Yeah.
And then we go ahead and we say Joe Biden. Now, if Joe Biden's the only one,
We good.
yeah, we good. And I'm thinking that Uncle Joe probably has slayed all the rest of them. Uncle Joe is tough. Uncle Joe about 80 years old, but Uncle Joe is still cooking with gas.
Yes,
and has gotten more done than they're saying. They've checked the record, and they're saying than most, even though we love Barack Obama and he will forever be out, they gave him a hard time, but he got that Affordable Care Act, and it will be forever. They haven't been able to come up with anything. They said, well, we tried, but we can't find anything. And we can't come up with anything ourselves. So, but he'll be known for that. But Joe Biden has come up with so much stuff that he's been able to get through that's benefiting us.
Yes.
And so we want to welcome all of our guests today who are on Facebook Live. D.O. Oliver, Hey, great new show. I'm gonna one of these days get to. Yeah. Well, see, Elaine. But that's a good name, Elaine Black, Susan Smith, and we've got some other folks. And y'all would normally be on if you weren't in the studio live. We have none other than Dr. Mary Butler, and we also have Pastor Lisa Watson, two of our very favorite people in the entire world. They are a storehouse of information, and they're going to talk about some events. You know, they're the coordinator and assistant coordinator of the Evangelical Ministers Alliance. Hey, right. Maria Bryant, that's Miss NAACP/voter registration. That's right. If you want to know about it and it has to do with voter registration, Maria Bryant is the one. And by the way, she was there last night at the Macon Transit Authority meeting. I keep coming back to that because I'm so excited and so thrilled that there was a room full of folks. And if our engineer can go to my Facebook page, there is a post on there that has some pictures from the Macon Transit Authority meeting last night, which shows some of the Transit Authority members, some that you will recognize, and you will see the huge crowd of folks who were there to let these people know that we do not want our fares raised. Right. We don't want them increased. No more. We have these signs. We had these at our news conference a month or so ago. No fare increase. No fare increase. And so we're going to talk about that, y'all, and we're going to talk about how you can help with that too. But we want to express our deepest sympathy to the family, the Glover family, Reverend Dr. Walter Glover and Dr. Beverly Glover, and the entire Glover family in the loss of his dear mother. They called her Bunchy. Wasn't that what they called her? Bunchy. And she was just a grand lady. Foxy lady. And even though, and I want y'all to know, don't feel any kind of way if we don't call the name of your loved one. I just don't know that name. But there are some people who I find out about on Facebook, some people I know very, very well, and we express condolences by their name. But in our hearts, we want to express our deepest condolences to all of the families who have lost loved ones. We really and sincerely express our condolences.
Two major hits there, so close together.
He lost his sister.
My godmother. Fourth Sunday in January, and then come right back to fourth Sunday in March, the day after his mom. So tough loss.
It's something. It's something. And we know so many people have lost loved ones, and we know you care about yours, and we are expressing our heartfelt sympathy. We are sending a special.
Then my pastor, he's just been there for
so many people. He said he was at my mom's service. He certainly was at Al's service. It's been almost 18 years since Al died.
Amazing.
For those of you who don't know, my son Al was a professional football player. He was injured seriously, spinal cord injury 18 years ago out in Los Angeles where he was playing, and he did not recover from it. And hello, Sherry Shannon Miller. Oh, Sherry was there hanging out with us at the terminal station last night. Had Reverend Donald Miller was there hanging with her too. Wade Horton is on here. Hello, Wade.
Hey, Wade.
Wade, now let me tell y'all something. Wade has a disability. He is a former sheriff's deputy.
Wow.
He was formerly employed by the Bibb County Sheriff's Department. Wade is legally blind, but Wade gets all over this town, but he uses paratransit, and they're talking about increasing the fees for folks who have to depend on that bus service.
That's a shame.
With Macon Transit.
That's a shame.
Wow.
And it is a shame. And Wade was there last night. And if y'all know Wade lifts too. He's been
he built
lifting, and he's solid.
Built,
he is. You don't mess with Wade. Just when you see him, don't mess with him. I'm telling you, just to help you out a little bit. But he and his cousin are there. They're fixtures at the Transit Authority and at the commission meetings, and they have been expressing concerns for years. For years, they get their paratransit rides down, and they come in, and they have expressed for years and years the wrongdoing at the Macon Transit Authority. And we've tried over time to correct some of those things, but it's kind of hard when you're one person and others don't see. Or maybe there may be one other that might see. You need that support. But we have asked the questions, and Wade has kept on the case. And with the case of the proposed fare increases, Wade has been to every meeting.
They brought it last night.
Oh yeah,
and the other young lady there too. I think her name was Jackie
Glover.
That's his cousin.
Yeah,
and she spoke too. And the thing is, these folks know the law.
Yeah,
they were quoting the law, and the Transit Authority folks. What do they usually say? Bless their hearts.
Yeah.
You know what that means, don't you? When you say bless their hearts.
Wow.
They are not as aware as they need to be, not as informed. And you can't sit on a board that's as important as transit and let one person, there's the meeting. Y'all see the meeting that's part of the group that was there, and that empty seat in the front was where I was sitting. There's Gwinnett Westbrooks, who addressed the for NAACP, who addressed the Macon Transit Authority. Can you flip through a few others? Now that's Mr. Dickey and Ms. Gonzalez. Is her name?
Oh yeah.
Gonzalez.
I always say it right.
They are the two newest members, and there you see a large number of the folks who were there.
Miller,
and there, the woman on the end to the far left is the finance person. In the middle is Charles Murphy, who serves on the Transit Authority. And then the other person, the white guy, is the attorney. Who, I don't know about you, meeting before last, he didn't say a word. He's getting paid though now by your money. But last night he didn't say a word. Y'all see Wade there?
Wade, yes.
So y'all go mess with Wade if y'all want to.
Wade been in the gym.
He has, but he's so strong. He is so strong.
That's our Madam Commissioner.
I'm celebrating 40 years as a Delta.
Wow.
I was admitted into the sisterhood 40 years ago, 1983.
All right.
As a Delta. I've been a member of historic Stewart Chapel AME Church, where my husband and his family attended. And when a few years after we married, then I joined there at Stewart Chapel. So that's that picture just shows a post that I did that said 40 years of Delta.
Wow.
And proud of the sisterhood.
Wow.
And this month,
my first lady, Dr. Beverly Glover, is the one.
Dr. Beverly Glover is
Zeta.
Zeta. She would don't start. We're all branches of the same tree, but folks get.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Good afternoon, Harriet Taylor, Susan Smith, Sherry Shannon Miller, Wade Horton, Maria Bryant, all of you, Dio Oliver, who have joined us on Ask Elaine. And we are so proud to have you there. Those who've joined us on AM, FM, here on Facebook Live. And thank you so much, Mr. Engineer, for showing those pictures because we wanted you to see all of the folks. We had somebody from A. Philip Randolph Institute.
Yes.
We had someone from ACLU, not ACLU, SCLC. Black Voters Matter was represented there. Bibb County Voters League, NAACP, Evangelical Ministers Alliance, and other ministers.
Yes.
Pastor Larry Dunning spoke
Spoke
from
well.
his heart,
Yes, he did.
spoke very well, and talked about his membership
Yeah.
and the services that people are already paying for.
Yes, yes.
And Doc, you remember last night they were giving the financial report and said that the Transit Authority has $13 million that's on the way in to them.
Yes.
There's 7 million, 3.3.5 million that comes from county money this year.
That's a lot
From
of
your
money.
money, your local
That's a
tax
lot of
money.
money.
3.5 million. The federal government matches the local
That's a lot of money.
monies dollar for dollar, which means
14 million. Ooh, that's a lot of money.
well, it's 7 million there, three and a half from local, and then the federal government gives 3.5. Plus, Keith Moffitt, who is our county manager, gave me a printout of one thing about being an elected official. And all y'all need to look at whether you are interested and want to be an elected official so you can get your hands on the information and bring it back to your folks.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to get it, but you will get it as an elected official. But I had a printout that showed that the Transit Authority was receiving the amounts of money that they received on a weekly basis. They don't get all the money at one time. They get it in increments. But they're still due there's a $700,000 grant that they're also receiving. And all that federal money that President Biden is sending to all of the states, Georgia, well, let's just look at Macon. Macon Bibb is due to receive $77 million.
Thank you, Joe.
Coming back. Y'all say Uncle Joe is too old. 77 million. Congressman Sanford Bishop and our two senators, Warnock and Ossoff, have been responsible for making sure that money got back to Georgia, the state that elected them to go and represent us.
That's why we need Ossoff and Warnock.
That's
and that's why we need Biden. Because they get the resources back here for us.
Back to us, yes.
If we mess around and let Trump or any of his ilk get back in there,
shame on us.
We are ruined. We might as well just go on and get some of that Jim Jones Kool-Aid like they drank years ago. We might as well just go on because look, they're already trying to take away the right to vote. They're already cutting off the SNAP, the food for families. They went ahead. These are Republicans. They cut off the tax credit, child tax credit that raised 50% of poor children, poor Black children out of poverty. All of these things are being done to keep our folks poor, to keep our folks oppressed. In Florida, DeSantis is trying, well, he's not trying, he did instruct and put pressure on some folks to remove history. So if it makes somebody white uncomfortable
to know the true history,
they can complain and they remove the books or the course from the educational system.
Holocaust.
Well, no.
And it makes a
no,
lot of people uncomfortable, but they ain't gonna
no.
remove that
Okay.
history.
It makes a difference, y'all.
Yes, it does.
So
It
if
does.
you
It
don't
really does.
protect your
You got
rights,
to protect it.
then
And
you know,
tell your
together
story,
we
your
can
history.
do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
got
we
to
got
be
to make
told.
sure. Now, our governor just signed, he's poised to sign a bill. These folks in Atlanta are up there, and the senator gets so mad.
My senator from
He
District
gets so
26.
mad because their numbers are fewer than the Republicans. So they, in a lot of things, they can't outvote them. But they're up there, they're picking a minority of the day. It was us with voting rights.
Okay.
Teachers didn't get all the money they should have gotten, so they picked on the teachers. Then they started picking on the gays and the lesbians. They say that if someone is in the process of getting some medical procedures done and some other
Yes.
things, they say, well, that's not allowed. That's illegal in the state of Georgia. They've already said that we women don't have control of our bodies.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, if we sit around, y'all, Patrick, welcome to Ask
Got to
Elaine.
vote. We
Thank
got
you.
to vote.
If we don't,
Vote in
if we
our
sit
interest.
around, let it happen, then we're gonna be headed back, singing that good old Negro spiritual, headed on back
Yeah.
to the plantation.
Yeah.
And they're trying to keep you out of housing.
Yeah.
How many folks are sitting up in hotels now, have
Yes.
no place to stay?
Can't
When
afford
our
'em.
Congress could enact laws working with the Democrats to make these things happen,
Affordable.
but they are withholding their votes,
That's
Yes,
right.
they are.
which is another way of enacting
And
racism
oppression.
and separation back into this
That's all it
society.
is. That's all
Back
it is.
into this society. And then they want to have as many guns out there as possible. All the guns keep on
With no
going. Because
regulations.
y'all black folks are killing
killing
each
Kill up
other.
each other.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Every
Yeah.
How many
We got to
yesterday?
stop. We got to
Two.
stop. We
Two
got to
mo-
stop killing
Our
each other.
young,
Yeah, we got to stop it.
our
We gotta
young are
stop
not
killing each
living
other.
long enough to grow up
Not at
and
all.
empower our
Not living
race
long
and
enough to
empower their
graduate from
family.
high school. We got to stop it. We got
It
to
is
stop.
so sad. It is so
We got to
sad.
stop killing ourselves. We got to
Right.
stop that.
Right.
We got to
Right.
stop.
Right. I tell you,
We got to.
I think that we can do better.
Yeah, we
I
can.
know
Yes,
we
we
can do
can.
better.
We can.
We've got a church on every corner
Right.
in Macon.
And this church right here, we're getting ready to have some more MVP events every month at the rec centers and the churches right now, thanks to Mayor Lester Miller using some of that rescue money.
That federal money,
That
that's
federal
your
money,
tax
right.
money.
They're using some of that money to get out in the public and spread that word of making violence prevention. Because we got to stop killing ourselves.
We have.
We got to get that message to our children. We got to get it to a lot of these adults
Right.
too. We got to
Right.
get it to them.
It's not the old folks that are killing
No.
each other. It's our young. So
Yeah.
we're robbing the cradle.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, we
Yeah.
are.
And our young are not developing techniques that they can
Precious.
use
Precious.
to
That's
not
because
hurt
of the-
each other.
That's because of the parents.
Yeah.
Well,
Two
we've got to
violence
have
in the
stronger
home.
parenting
Yeah, we
too.
got
Yes,
You're
two-
right.
two major areas when it comes to this killing that we see in Macon. You got to deal with the parents and the peer pressure.
Right.
Them and their friends, and poor parenting is a lot of times not knowing where their children are that time of the morning, that kind of thing, not knowing that their kids have these guns,
Okay.
that kind of thing. Yeah, you got to deal with the parenting and their peers. Those
Right.
are the two big P's. Though we like to talk about the politicians and the preachers and the pastors, it really goes back to those parents and their
Parents and
peers.
peers.
Yeah, if we that's how we can reach them if we're going to stop this young
That's
killing
right.
that's going
That's
on.
right. Patrick has posted in the chat an article on gun deaths.
Yeah.
Among children in America. And it's not just here in our community, but that's home.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about
Yeah.
it. Maria says if we don't vote, you don't need to complain. And I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Don't come to me complaining. And I ask you if you're registered to vote, if you're a member of NAACP, if you attend a church of your choice, if you're doing something in the community and you say no, don't come to me. Please don't do it. Doesn't
At
matter.
least
People
don't
say it doesn't.
complain. At least don't be talking and running
Look,
your mouth and
look. Go
complaining. You know
find
you ain't gonna
something
do
to
nothing.
do,
That's it.
and then come back.
That's it.
Patrick has also posted an article of gun violence, car crashes, firearm deaths among youth.
Oh yeah, we're dying from COVID, cancer, killing each other. I mean, we're
Gun
just not
violence is
living.
number
We're
one
We're not
among
living.
youth.
Yeah.
We're not living.
Yeah. And Patrick has also posted that Congressman Sanford Bishop, um, uh, he has caused us to be able to receive, what is it, 39 million in federal Head Start funds.
Wow.
Now, we always say on here, books in the ballot, don't we, ladies?
So we say books
Pastors,
in the ballot.
books in the ballots are the key to our future and our
Yes.
success.
And
We
I
get
believe
our
that.
books,
I believe that.
and then we use that ballot.
Ballot.
And I need to come up with another B that embodies we loving each other. So
Yeah.
y'all come
The
up with, you
Bible.
good with the
That's the Bible.
Bible. Books,
Teach
ballot,
about-
Bible.
That'll
Yeah.
add Christ
Sounds
to
good
it.
to me.
Yeah.
Sounds good to
You know,
me.
Dr. Butler's quote is that Christ plus education is a winning combination, and each one reach one, and all will be reached for the cause of Christ. We live by that.
There you
So,
go.
like you said, Bible,
Add that Bible
the way
in
of the
there
Bible.
for the
There
people.
you go.
You got
There
it.
you go. All right. We're going to get to these two folks who are working just as hard as they can for this community in a minute. I just want to repeat these bits of information.
Yes.
Macon has a poverty rate of over 25%.
Quarter.
That means if you take 100 people, 25 of them are going to be under the poverty. They're going to be in poverty. There's 20% of Macon's residents who don't have a car.
Wow.
20%.
1 in every 5.
Yeah. Macon's homeless population is huge.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I passed by
Yes.
Spring Street just a little while ago, getting on the interstate.
Thank God for Brookdale Warming Center, but there's a lot of more
Brookdale
spots out
Warming,
there that
yeah.
still shows
That's
that we
right.
have a homeless
That's right.
problem.
And by the way, there's a project that's intended to send water to Mississippi and Alabama. So if y'all will go on my Facebook page, Elaine Huckabee Lucas, you'll see the post on there. And if you want to donate anything toward the recovery effort over there, because people can't wait to get service, they need water. Bottled water, they need a lot of different things. So Black Voters Matter is working on that. I've donated before I left the school a little while ago. And if y'all would go to my Facebook page, if y'all would please donate toward that water effort. It's to have clean water for those folks where the tornadoes ripped through. It could have been us.
And share it off of your page so others can help.
Okay, I will. It could have been us. There are usually 300 to 400 children in our community who are homeless. And when I served as a teacher and counselor in the Bibb school system, we had to keep track as counselors of the numbers of homeless families.
A lot of kids going to school from hotels.
That's right. That is right. That's right. So you can count yourself lucky, fortunate, but we've got to do something for other folks. Your life expectancy can be 10 years lower depending on where you live. There are some zip codes in Macon-Bibb County that the research has shown that you live 10 years of shorter lifespan than if you lived in 31210 or 31220. And there are a few others.
17.
Many cities are now moving, as far as transit, many cities are now moving toward free transit. And smaller ones, especially the larger cities, they've seen some problems with opening the transit up to everybody, a lot of vandalism and all of that. But this is Macon, Georgia. And with your tax money already going in to fund the transit authority. They're not working free. Craig
No.
Ross is not, he's crowned himself president. Craig Ross is not working free. None of the others are working free.
Wow.
And that lady who works for Macon Transit, who went out of there because she was mad last night, had her nose stuck up, looking funny because we had taken Macon Transit to task. Shame on you, because we are looking out for you. I'm not gonna call her name, but she was the only black person with the group.
Well, bless her heart.
The others are making their big salaries, and I'd like to look and compare her salary. But that was the one that they had there. But they had her passing out the paperwork. The rest of them was sitting around. I guess one was trying to film us or whatever. All he had to do was ask. He could have asked all of us. We would have given him the best picture. We have to give him one that looks decent. Y'all, we are serious about this Macon Transit Authority.
No
there is
fare
absolutely
increase.
no reason.
No, too much
No
money.
fare increase.
Too
No
much
reason.
money to oppress the poor riders. No fare.
When all of your money is already going in, and they've got $13 million that's slated to come in,
and to still
plus
be
other
poor oppressed people. I'm not with it.
no.
Zip.
So stay tuned. Listen out for what the next step will be. Some people last night were calling for initiation of an audit or an
It's a lot of money.
investigation
That's a lot of money.
of Macon Transit. And I have to say, I agree that there's got to be something else. The only thing that they had to do at that meeting last night was for one of those transit authority members to say, Mr. Chair, who is Frank Tompkins, Mr. Chair, I move that we rescind our action to increase the fares. And then all you had to do was to have a second and you take the vote. It was just that simple. Nobody said anything about it. Mr. Murphy did say he was going to ride the buses. But what good is it going to do to ride the buses
if the fare still increased?
And you ask somebody, do you want your fare increased? What do you think they are going to say?
That's okay.
But you're riding the bus, they're going to think that's intimidation, that you're on there for some reason or whatever. So it's a waste of time. Macon Transit Authority, Macon Bib Commission, Mayor Miller.
Need to make the move.
So far, so good. But
we need to make that
y'all
move.
need to take a stand and say no fare increase. With all the monies that we give already to support transit and to support y'all's salaries down there, including the one who had her mouth poked out as she left out. I guess she was scared or call herself mad because they let her sit at her desk. I'll save all of that for later on. I want to make the lady mad. I might have to ride the bus one day. We have Wade on the phone. Wade is our hero.
Wade.
How are you, Wade? Welcome to Ask Elaine.
I am wonderful.
You got to speak up, Wade, because we can't hear you. And they have a sign up in here that I'm not to touch anything. Wade, speak up, please, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We hear you. We hear you.
Just
but not loud.
a little louder. Let's your help us, please.
Go ahead, Wade.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Okay, Wade, that's better. Go ahead. You're our hero, Wade.
Yeah.
Oh no, you the hero.
I'm just following. I had good.
Shiro,
month. You rock. Because
I agree with you, Wade.
Okay, Wade, what do you need to tell us about trans?
Well, what I wanted to say is, I noticed last night at the meeting, and thank you for filling in those details that I can't see. That is great. But I noticed last night, in reference to us talking on the at the commission's meeting, and we pointed out that ridership on fixed route had fallen 40%. I noticed that the accountant, Miss Georgia, did not give the information about the fixed route last night.
Mm.
And that is something that is normally given when they are given the numbers.
Right.
We didn't get a number. I don't know if you remember. Craig
They were
Ross
very
didn't
selective.
give a operations report.
Right.
Somebody
And
has
this is
selective
a
amnesia.
That's right. But guess what? They're going to tell it when we do that audit. I bet you they'll be
Right,
talking
right.
then.
You don't have to tell
They'll
it.
give us some extra information that we didn't even ask for.
Mhm.
Right. But you know, this is a tactic they use. They have used this tactic before when we report on things that have happened. They will just leave out the
Yeah.
report or cut it out, parts of it, so that the public don't know. And
Well,
if
they won't get away with
we're not
cutting it
That's
telling
out
the
right.
this
truth,
time.
why hide
No,
it?
because we're
Uh-uh.
laser focused on them. Wade, tell us about why you had to sue Making Trends.
Well, I can't go into the details of that, but they would not come to my house and pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
And I advised Mr. Ross and the board members. They called me in after a board meeting, and they all sat across. And Mr. Ross said, "You are revoked from riding." And I asked him why. "You live in Jones County." I said, "I do." "So you're not able to ride. We service Macon Bill." I said, "Well, the law of American Disability Act states that if I'm in the radius, regardless of what geographic boundary line I live in, you have to service me." And I referred to the transit lawyer, which is Brad Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked him, "Do you have the regulations on that?" He said, "I don't have to show you anything." I said, "You don't."
Wow.
And I told Mr. Ross and Brad, I said, "You do what you have to do, and I would do what I have to do."
Mm.
And I did
Wow.
just that.
Did they think
And
they
that's
were
the
going
type
to
of,
scare you, Wade?
do I think they were going to do what?
Did they think that they could scare you?
Or
I
intimidate you.
think it was done for that purpose.
Mhm.
And when I started telling them why they were legally wrong,
Okay.
one person, Shedrick Clark, said,
Mm-hmm.
"I don't feel comfortable about this. I know we need more information. Let's
All
table
right.
this."
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what some of them need
I
to
miss
do.
him being on the board because he started saying a lot of things and he would speak up.
Right.
And right now
Well,
we
when
don't really
Tom
have that.
Hudson served, and when Charles Howard served on the board, and when Miss Nettie Thomas used to serve on there, you had a lot of stuff that didn't get past them. But now Craig Ross, he named himself president. Nobody else, I can't think of anybody else over any authority or group
That
who
calls themselves
that
president.
calls himself president and CEO.
Wow.
And you come from a glorified teller position at the bank,
Wow.
and then you go and you manufacture you a position to go on the transit authority as the president and CEO.
Wow.
He did not meet the qualifications of going into that position, and so he went in the back door by being a member of the transit authority. And then when the other one had to leave, then all of a sudden the announcement is made. The new president and CEO is Craig Ross. And I'm sitting there about to faint because this is the first I've heard. We fund them
Yeah.
and we give them money, and then they come back year after year after year for additional monies, and we give it to them because they're providing transportation to our citizens. And then this kind of stuff happens. But we might need to do some changing
Yeah.
of the membership of the transit authority, and I know we need to do some changing as far as the employment
Yes.
status of
Yes.
some
Mhm.
folks.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
Wade,
This was
how the lawsuit come out?
Did you win
we
one?
prevailed.
You prevailed.
All right.
Yeah.
That means you won weight.
Hey, are they picking you up from your house?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Uh
All right, that
huh.
means you
Uh
won
huh.
weight.
I
Won.
saw you come in on the paratransit bus last night, so I figured they were still picking you up.
Oh yeah, we came in.
Uh huh.
Miss Wilson, what
People
about
have
this?
got to stop being scared, Wade.
Yeah. Don't be
I know.
intimidated. Don't let them use fear.
Now, what about this? We need to let the people know this. Our beautiful terminal station, historic terminal station, made a whopping over $500,000 renting the space
Wow.
to special events, wedding events,
Right.
Yeah.
Macon
birthday
Transit
parties.
owns it. It was turned over to them a long time ago. C. Jack Ellis bought it, purchased it, and then it was from Georgia Power, and then somehow Macon Transit was deemed it was supposed to be a multimodal facility
That's
where you
right.
had
That's right.
all forms of transportation coming into it. And so the
That's what we've
Macon
been trying to
Transit
get
now
hub.
they rent it out because there are weddings and all kinds of stuff. It's a beautiful structure, beautiful
Beautiful.
inside, and they've used a lot of your money, your taxpayers'
To
money, to
beautify.
fix it up and clean it up and all of that. But and we have some city offices
In
that
that
are
area.
renting. And now here you have the Macon Transit Authority that we fund partially, and they have access or full control of the terminal station where they rent out space to some of our offices.
Yeah, like the
We are
driver's
in the
license.
process of moving
Like the
out.
driver's license.
They
Okay.
get the fees from
Yeah.
they get those fees. They get some of our offices are down there, but Mayor Miller is moving
To
a
the
number of
mall.
those
To the
folks
mall.
to the mall and to another building
Good.
down by the
Good.
courthouse.
Good.
So we won't be funding them, and then
Yeah.
they get the rent
Hmm.
from us as well.
Wow.
And then they have the nerve,
The
Wade,
charge for fee.
to try and increase the fees
On
on poor
poor
people.
people.
They are worse than
Oh man.
shameful.
Man.
How do you do that kind of stuff?
That's double dutching
Wade,
right
I'm
there.
sorry. This thing has really just
It's
built a
gotten deep.
fire in me. It just it makes me just ill.
Yeah, it's going deeper.
Yeah.
And it, you know, and it should, because there's no explanation for it.
No.
No.
What are they doing with all of the money they're getting that when they're
That's
renting that place?
question.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What is it going to?
That's
Yeah.
it.
I
That's why the
believe
audit is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe the Macon Transit Authority has the distinction of being in the business of renting and leasing their space out. You know what? I'm gonna check around the state and I'm gonna see what other agencies. I'm gonna ask them, can I rent your space for a party
Yeah. See
or
what they
a
yeah.
wedding?
Hmm.
Because this is extra money they're getting in, and no one's checking it.
Yeah. It need to
Um,
be an
That's
audit.
you
right.
mentioned the $6.7 million in CARES money they got, in addition to the local monies that were matched by the federal government, and then you get the 700,000 plus that they get from the state of Georgia.
Wow.
And what are they doing with that? But you want to trick people, because
It's
the
a lot of
current
money.
price, if you were entertainment to say this, the current price to ride the six route bus right now is $1.25, and you have to pay 50 cents for a transfer fee.
Hmm.
And if you go down to the transfer station, most people that ride the bus, they're transferring to another, so they can get to another side of town. That is $1.75. 125 plus 50 cent transfer, that's $1.75. Well,
Hmm.
you're raising the transit fixed route fee from 125 to 175 with a free
Right.
transfer. That means you're charging the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's that
but the
hocus
Americans with
pocus.
Hmm.
Disability, right? But the American with Disability Act give them they have to provide paratransit if you receive federal dollars. And if you receive the federal dollars, you can charge up to twice what the fixed route uh, gets charged. So by moving that 50 cents to the initial fare for the fixed route and eliminating the transfer fee, that's $1.75, which means they're paying, in essence, the same price.
Mm-hmm.
But the significance of that is you can charge paratransit riders an additional $1 because you charge
Wow.
for
And,
double.
and that's a
So
shame.
it looks like on the face value that you have raised prices for the fixed route. In essence, you have not raised prices for the fixed route. You are only doubling the price for paratransit,
Wow.
who are
That's
served by
shameful.
elderly, disabled people in Puerto
That's
Rico.
shameful.
Well,
So it's a, it's
Wade,
a, it's a trick.
it is a
Yeah.
trick,
Uh-huh.
but we're exposing the trick.
Yeah.
And what we've got to do, and what I see from last night with folks sitting up there acting like we did not have a right to be there,
Yes, they did.
they were dismissive. The chair made sure that he tried to protect Craig Ross,
Yes, they
who
did.
made the statement as I left the room. I tell you, as I left the room at the last meeting, I hate her.
No, he
And
can't.
the chair was right there, and I know he heard him.
We got to do
He
something
heard
about
him.
that.
And as a black man with a white man saying something like that
Wow.
after a female black
Wow.
elected official,
Something needs to
you
be done
let
about that.
somebody do that,
That
and
should be
David Lucas
addressed.
is there,
That should be
or
addressed.
Lenny
That
Lucas,
should be addressed.
or a
That
whole
that
bunch of
should be
other folks.
addressed.
Look, it's gotta
That
it's
should be
gotta be
addressed,
addressed.
and it
And
needs
they
to be
didn't address it
corrected.
last night.
It should
No,
be
It was
addressed,
no,
brought
and it
up.
needs to be
no.
corrected.
The only thing the chair said was, you can't call anybody's name. Don't call Master's name.
Well, master,
I'm paraphrasing,
master,
y'all. He didn't
master.
say
Well,
he
master.
didn't say that, but you could. Anyway, we're gonna talk some more about that. Wade, thank you so very much, and I want you to continue listening, continue coming to the meetings. Um, and come on this show each week because we want to hear your perspective on all of these different things. And so we got just a few minutes left. We're going to go to the two pastors who are here, and we're going to talk about some Martin Luther King events. Thank you so much,
And you
Wade.
know
Great
what?
job,
You're
And
Wade.
you know
welcome. Y'all
what?
have a wonderful day, and in
You
honor
too.
of
You too,
Women's
now.
Okay,
History Month,
Patrick.
thank you.
Thank you, Wade.
Thank you. Patrick has posted some more information on the Americans with Disabilities Act. Y'all, my leg was hurting last night when I came up those stairs to that. You see how that thing is set? It's on the fourth floor of the terminal station, and you have to catch the elevator up. One elevator is not working in the
I have
terminal
to work on
station.
the access.
So you got one elevator up to the fourth floor, and then
Still
you've
gotta
got
go
two
some
little
steps.
narrow stairways that go up. If somebody is in a wheelchair, there's an elevator that I believe is a locking elevator. Somebody has to be there to lock it and unlock it to let you in.
Mhm.
And I don't feel safe in there. And if I don't feel safe, then what must someone who's in a wheelchair? Well, anyway,
You gotta have
I
better
hobbled
access.
up the
The
thing
steps.
there up the steps, and they're so narrow.
Yes, they
We
are.
girls with wide hips, we have
Turn.
a little
Let me tell you.
rough time. So
Mm-mm.
I am calling for a review of whether that room is handicap accessible,
right.
because oh, heaven forbid that there
Mm-mm.
would be some kind of emergency and you had to get
Get out
all
in a
of those
hurry.
folks. And last night, you can see from the pictures, there were a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
So, but the Americans with Disabilities Act requires the MTA as a public entity that operates a fixed route system to make reasonable accommodations. And so Patrick has posted that whole reference there to Americans with Disabilities. We're going to study that and get our attorneys busy on looking at this. As a matter of fact, in my capacity as an elected official, we have a whole legal department
Okay.
that has the expertise to check these
Okay.
things out and bring back to me as an elected official the information. No, we don't have to get any other attorneys. We got them. Y'all already paying for them. Okay. Now, thank you, everybody who's tuned in. We're going to go to our two guests, and I have to apologize to you because we
got Kim Carter on there.
Oh, is Kimberlyn there?
There.
Where
Miss
is
Info
Kimberlyn?
there. She's
Is
on there.
Kimberlyn there?
Yeah, she's there.
Sharon
there.
Woolfolk is there.
Patrick
And of course, Patrick Kimberlyn.
Hey, Kim.
Oh, happy Women's History Month. Yeah, we declared that. Yeah. Yeah, we got the right folks. Whether you're listening on AM, FM, or you're on Facebook Live, we are so happy to have you. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you. Oh, Kimberly's at the state capitol. Today is the last day, the 40th day of the session, and your senator is gonna be here. They're gonna work late.
Yep.
And it's a lot of they might have some knockdown dragouts up there because it's a lot of discriminatory things. So I know Kim is right in the middle of it. But Senator will be home tomorrow, so he'll start work on Soul Jam. Next week, we're going to have him on so he can talk about Soul Jam. Who's on there? I think the Manhattan's Midnight Star.
Kim say he going to need to rest after working up there.
D1. Who else? And the David Lucas and the Soul Jam singers, all those folks gonna be on there. So Soul Jam, they're gonna have early bird tickets too, up until like the 25th of April. But he'll talk about that next week when he's finished. He's back and finished with the session. Now, ladies, Evangelical Ministers Alliance is our organization of the year under the Martin Luther King board. And so y'all have worked for years and years and years to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And so tell us what events are coming up. And y'all out there, y'all mark your calendar for these events that are coming up. And y'all please come to support so that we celebrate Dr. King 365.
MLK 365.
Go ahead.
MLK 365. That's it.
All right.
And this organization, EMA, Evangelical Ministerial Alliance, is 56 years old. And I always remember that because the organization is the same amount old as I am old in years.
All right.
So it's a 56-year-old organization. And for 25 of those years now, almost me and Dr. Butler have been a part, as you say, of keeping the legacy of Dr. King alive through the EMA, thanks to the late Reverend Richard Gamage and the late Reverend Leroy Reeves for welcoming us in as the first female presidents, vice presidents, program coordinators. Now, we just thank them for bringing us aboard to help to preserve the legacy of Dr. King here locally. So we're proud this month in our quest to continue to do, as you said, keep his legacy alive, 365. During the month of April, we will have the Drum Major for Justice Awards, where we acknowledge people in the community who have served with longevity. They have to serve for at least 12 to 15 years to get the Drum Major for Justice Award. And this year we have 8 great nominees. 4 of them are what I call the Fave 4. Part of the Fave 5 of the NAACP. One of them online with us now, Miss Maria Bryant, Deacon Willie Dumas, Miss Adonia Jackson, and Miss Gloria Smith. They'll be 4 of the 8 honorees this year.
Well deserved.
On April the 4th at 7 p.m. We'll be at Pastor Leon Ward's church down on Williamson Road. I believe the address is 1830
He's
Williamson
a warrior.
Road. And
he has been involved for years.
Yes, he's one of the drum majors for this year as well, along under clergy, along with Pastor Sandra Barrion from Greater Vine Baptist Church. Okay. And then under education, we have Dr. Thomas Duval.
Yes.
And Lieutenant Reginald Reggie.
Oh, Reggie.
Yeah, Thomas. And so we're proud of these 8 nominees for this year. That'll be on April the 4th, the day we commemorate and celebrate the assassination date of Dr. King. We don't want people to ever forget that he paid the ultimate sacrifice for us and for our rights.
Right.
And so we do that on April the 4th, 7 p.m. at New Birth there, 1830 Williamson Road. And it's just an award ceremony, and then a free food reception will follow. And so we want everybody to come out and help us celebrate the 8 nominees. And then Dr. Butler, I'll let Dr. Butler tell you about what we're doing on Good Friday, Friday before Easter, April the 7th at congregation on 868 Hazel Street. Pastor James Mann will be there. Good Friday. I'll let Dr. B tell you a little bit.
On Good Friday, we will be celebrating the 7 last sins of Christ. And we've been doing that now for the past 40 years, and it has been an awesome celebration of Christ's life. The 7 last statements that he made
from the
upon
cross.
the cross. So we're inviting everyone to come out. It will begin at 7 o'clock, and we'll have 7 speakers that's in our organization that'll stand up.
For 7 minutes.
They'll have 7 minutes in order to state their claim. So we're inviting you to come out and help us.
So it won't be a long
That's
service.
good. It's long enough.
That's
long enough.
They have
and I do have the clock.
You get some good sermons in 7 minutes.
And we give them grace. We give them 3 minutes of grace, but we hope, as Pastor Chair often say, that they won't use up all the grace.
7 works so well.
Don't use up all the grace.
That it's always exciting, always great, always good speakers, always good messages. You two pastors truly give to this community. Y'all work so hard. It is to your credit and others who have been a part of Evangelical Ministers Alliance all these years that it continues, that it continues to grow, that there are folks who are loyal to it. The president this year is
Laura Cherry.
Mr. Laura Cherry.
And we're praying for Reverend
and
Pastor
I'm
Cherry.
the vice.
Yes, and Dr. Butler's our vice president. We're praying for Pastor Ralph Cherry. He was ill this past weekend. Spent a little time in the hospital.
Gave us a scare.
Yeah, but he's doing better, and we're praying for him. He's supposed to be the first speaker for the 7 Last Saying, and Pastor James Mann is the closeout speaker. So we're looking for a great time and praying that God continues to heal him and give him his strength back.
Yes.
Give us the summary of those events one more time
4th,
before.
This coming Tuesday. That's April the 4th. And that's Holy Week coming up to Easter. Just remember that's Holy Week coming up to Easter, April the 4th. And we always say 4-4. That's the day Dr. King was assassinated. April the 4th, 1968, Dr. King paid the ultimate sacrifice with his life being snuffed out. And we're going to commemorate that April the 4th at 7 p.m. And we will be at New Birth, 1830 Williamson Road, 7 p.m. as we honor those 8 honorees with the Drum Major for Justice Award. That's April the 4th, 7 p.m. at New Birth, Pastor Leon Ward. Then on Good Friday, April the 7th, Good Friday, April the 7th at 7 p.m. We'll be at Pastor James Mann Church on Hazel Street, right up from the LEC, 868 Hazel Street, the Congregational Baptist Church. We'll be there for the 7 Last Saying, 7 speakers, 7 minutes, 7 p.m. there at Congregational Church.
Oh, that is wonderful.
That kicks us into our Easter weekend.
And I like that y'all switch the churches, the locations around.
Churches.
Now, later in the year, we're going to, the Martin Luther King Board is going to sponsor a youth song fest. And we will have young people from all the different nationalities that are in Macon. Y'all might just think that they're black folks and white folks in Macon, but we have people of African descent, we have Hispanic, we have Arab, we have Indian, we have lots and lots of people in this community that you don't know that they're here. But we're going to spotlight the youth. Songbird wants to come and she sang at our church Sunday. She tore it up. It was just hot in there. And then the DA spoke and then it was hotter in there. It was a wonderful time.
And they were looking pretty too. The pastel colors for Women's Month. I saw it.
Yeah. And destined for greatness, yes. Y'all hear that music?
I hear that Ask
It
Elaine
just,
music.
it just, we again want to express our condolences to the families of those who've lost loved ones.
Yes.
We love you all.
You're
And
in
to
our
those whose
prayers,
names we
our
did not
hearts.
call, you're in our hearts. You're
Yes,
in
yes.
our prayers. And these two pastors send their deepest sympathy
Yes,
to you
Yes.
as well. And on behalf of Ask Elaine, we just hope that our thoughts and prayers will reach you and strengthen you as you deal with this. So, our heartfelt sympathy to you. Y'all, if you're not registered, please go ahead and
Please.
register. It's not. What is it, Rachel? Nighttime is the right time to get
Yeah.
registered.
Uh-huh.
Go get I messed that up, didn't I? Go get registered, y'all, because you can't vote unless you are registered.
Don't be a
So
goat. Go and vote.
that's right. We'll see you again next week for another edition of Ask Elaine. Thank you, lady.
Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM
Perry.